It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the films of December 4th, 1998. Only four movies to look at today, and only one that I really, honestly, actually saw, so we can be really quick on this one. So, let's go ahead and jump on into it. We'll start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, the controversial remake of the Alfred Hitchcock classic, Psycho.
You spent last Saturday night at the Base Motel.
Something is wrong out there, and I have to know what.
I want to see you. Mother, she just goes a little mad sometimes. God, Mother! Psycho, rated R. Starts Friday.
So this is controversial for several reasons, most notably because you're remaking one of the greatest horror movies of all time, one of the greatest movies of all time, period, from one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, Alfred Hitchcock. And it basically has the same premise. You have an embezzler arriving at an old motel run by a mysterious man named Norman Bates, and chaos ensues afterwards. But this is Gus Van Sant, who had just done Good Will Hunting the year before, which won Robin Williams an Academy Award. So he was kind of given a free pass to pretty much do whatever he wanted to do. And his idea for this was supposed to be a shot-for-shot retelling of the original film that most remakes, often copying Hitchcock's camera movies and editing, including the original script, which is pretty much carried over from here, and the same score by Bernard Herrmann is used, as well as some new songs, new arrangements by Danny Elfman and Steve Bartek. But then they decide to add in things that make you have to look at this and go, if you're going to do a shot-for-shot remake, you don't add anything new to this. Like, they introduced the idea of accounts for advances in technology since the original film, and to make the content more explicit. And the film's murder sequences are also intercut with surreal images, and it's just kind of like, what are you guys doing? It's just like, it just takes a movie that just seems like a bad idea at first, but you're going along with it because the talent that they have there could carry it through, and it's just as bad as you think it's going to be, and even worse at times. It's just like, don't say you're going to do a shot-for-shot remake if you're going to add in new shots that have nothing to do with what happened in the original film, and you want to add them just because it's part of modern technology, that modern filmmaking nowadays. It's like, just don't do that. I mean, it's a film that is just so unnecessary. It's one of the most unnecessary remakes of all time, and it just feels unnecessary on so many levels. Like, I'll give the movie credit, though. It's not overall terrible. There are a few elements that I didn't think were too bad. Like, I thought some of the acting overall was pretty good. I mean, I thought Vince Vaughn did a pretty good job as Norman Bates. I thought Anne Hesh was pretty good playing the character played by Janet Leigh, Marion Crane. I thought Julianne Moore was very good here. Viggo Mortensen is okay. William H. Macy usually will turn in a good performance, but it doesn't really matter when you have a film that has really no purpose for existing, except it just needs to be made for a new generation. And the original film has held up so much better than most people would give it credit for, and it has shown in the years since this film's been released. This film has been largely forgotten, and nobody has really gone back and looked at it and said, well, it was a film that was just too ahead of its time. No, everybody who saw this movie back then can tell you nowadays that this movie sucked. This remake was not that good. And even despite the elements that I thought were okay, the film was just like, it just had no intentions on existing whatsoever. And not surprisingly, it crashed and burned at the box office hard. And also kind of killed Gus Van Sant's directorial career for a little bit. But he eventually found his way back, though. It wasn't like a big killer of his career. He returned a couple of years later with Finding Forrester. And then he did Milk a couple of years later, which Sean Penn got a lot of praise for. So it wasn't a complete loss of his career overall, but it was considered a major blot on what had been a pretty solid directorial career up to that point. I mean, this is a guy that gave us Drugstore Cowboy, My Own Private Idaho. Hell, I'd rather watch even Cowgirls Get the Blues again than watch this movie again. That's how bad this movie is. Just a terrible movie, just a waste of time. It's a mess. It's a mess of a movie on so many levels. So that is Psycho. So let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Little Voice.
In Little Voice.
That's the only trailer I can really find. It's an international trailer, so sorry that wasn't a whole lot of footage there. But the basic story here is that you have a shy, reclusive lady who's convinced by an invisible entity to sing. Suddenly, she finds herself noticed by a sleazy talent agent, and her talent being showcased on stage. She also meets a kind but nervous man who becomes her best friend. You have Brenda Blethyn, Jane Horrocks, Michael Caine, Ewan McGregor, which is very funny because this movie is very similar to another movie Michael Caine was in called Educating Rita. And this director has made some has not made a ton of great films. His last film he made was The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, which is a pretty good movie. But this film, I really don't know too much about it. It's got some good reviews to it, and Brenda Blethyn was nominated for an Academy Award for this, so there has to be some good. So I'm assuming there's some good things about it. Early film role for Ewan McGregor before he broke out big the year later with Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, and Jane Horrocks. Most people know her from Absolutely Fabulous and also Chicken Run. Most notably, I know her from Chicken Run, but she's also in Absolutely Fabulous. She plays the title character of Little Boy, so she's really good from the little bit of the trailer that I've seen there. I'm about to say the movie because I haven't seen the film. So, but it looks like it could be a good movie. I don't see anything that looks too bad about it whatsoever. So maybe it's got a chance to be good. So that's Little Voice. So on to the next movie, and that is Shattered Image. Another one that did not have a whole lot of footage on there. When I looked up Shattered Image on YouTube, a Bo Derek USA 1994 movie came up, and I couldn't find anything until I typed in Shattered Image and William Baldwin, and there's a little bit of the trailer there. But you have a confusing reality surface in this paranoia film dealing with the fragile nature of a young woman played by Anne Parilla from Innocent Blood and La Femme Nikita, who's recovering from rape and an apparent attempted suicide. In one reality, she's a killer, destroyer of men. In another, she is the new wife of a Jamaican honeymoon with a new husband played by William Baldwin, who's trying to help her recover. And as she switches between realities through her dreams, she seeks to figure out who the other Jessie is and why she is seeing her. As the dramatic different realities start to merge, causing grave implications, questions start to arise. Is someone trying to kill Jessie? Can Jessie trust her new husband Brian? And more importantly, who is the real Jessie? So, from the looks of it, it kind of reminds me somewhat of a little bit of I Know Who Killed Me, that terrible Lindsay Lohan movie. From the little bit that I saw from this trailer here, in this premise, we have two different personalities in here. I think that's what they're getting the idea of. Most of these, you can tell the inspiration's coming from a lot of David Lynch films. Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive. But, I don't know. I mean, it's nice to see Anne Parilla in another movie again. I thought after Innocent Blood and La Femme Nikita, her career kind of dropped off a little bit. But at least I know that she's been doing some other films. I don't know, it could be decent, but I don't really know anything about it because I have not seen the film, so I can't really comment on it too much. So that is Shattered Image. So let's go ahead and move on to the last movie we have here, and that is High Life.
Caitlin Cartledge, Charles Sterling, Daryl Hannah, Moira Kelly, Peter Rieger, Campbell Scott, and Eric Stoltz. I mean, I'm an actor. I lie for a living. You know, sort of. How much money have you made acting? That's not funny. High Life. All he...
So you have this guy named Jimmy who's got a gambling den and uses a lie to get his girlfriend Susan to help him find $900. Susan uses another lie to get his bartender brother Ray to help, but Ray hates Jimmy. Ray wanders around the local bars collecting money. Jimmy's looking for Ray and Susan looking for Jimmy. When the wrong people meet, the lies will unravel. And you have a cast that includes Ray as Campbell Scott, you have Daryl Hannah as Maggie, Maura Kelly as Susan, Eric Stoltz as Jimmy, Peter Rieger, Charles Durning. Pretty much all I know about this movie, but it has a good review, so maybe it is something that is actually maybe worth it, but I wouldn't know for certain because I've never seen the film, so I mean, it could be good. That's pretty much all I can say about that one. That's High Life. And so with that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. When we meet next time, we'll have the latest Star Trek movie, Star Trek Insurrection, Michael Keaton and the Christmas comedy Jack Frost, A Simple Plan from director Sam Raimi, the year's Oscar winner for Best Picture, Shakespeare in Love, and Wes Anderson's Rushmore. So 5 notable films. We'll definitely delve into those next time. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Until then, as always, take care. Oh, and also don't forget to like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. So I always keep forgetting to say that.